going back, I believe, to the video. Yep.
Don't even know that they're immortal and don't even care to be immortal. And they just choose, say, fuck it, I'm mortal. And they choose that. You know what I'm saying? And that's the 2/3 that's gonna get the same punishment of the mortals who has to be punished, because they have not been punished like the immortals. See, the immortals came down and they messed up. They disobeyed the Most High God. And so they had to go through a punishment, and they were given over into the mortals' hands.
All right. So we are the ones that's been punished. All right. The Israelites. All right. The immortals. We're the one that's been punished, not these other nations. All right. And I always like to get this scripture, and I'm going to get it right now. This is Amos chapter 3:1. It says, "Hear this word that the Lord hath spoken against you, O children of Israel." All right. The immortals. It says, "Against the whole family which I brought up from the land of Egypt." Who came up from the land of Egypt, out of the land of Egypt? The Israelites. Remember, we read in that Exodus 4:22. He said, "Go tell Pharaoh," which was an Egyptian, all right, "that Israel is my son, even my firstborn." And he ultimately saved Israel, the Israelites, from the ancient Egyptians, all right, and being in captivity under them. All right. And the way that he did it was spectacular. He hit them with plagues. All right. Then he delivered us and the sea, opened, and we walked on dry ground. All right. It was miraculous. OK, he's going to do that again. But this time around, it's going to be even more miraculous. All right. But it says, "Hear this word that the Lord has spoken against you, O children of Israel, against the whole family which I brought up from the land of Egypt, saying, you only have I known of all the families of the earth. Therefore, I will punish you." I'm punishing you, you immortals. So you can learn from all these experiences. Okay? So when you are put in power, when I give you your inheritance, which is the kingdom, to rule for eternity over all other nations, these mortals, then you may rule righteously. Okay? But the point is that he only punished us. All right? He only punished us. That's why even in this second Maccabees that I like to get, this is second Maccabees chapter 6 verse 12. It says, "Now I beseech those that read this book that they be not discouraged for these calamities." You immortals that's down here in this flesh right now, all right? Don't be discouraged that we're at the bottom. Don't be discouraged that we're in captivity. Don't be discouraged that this is not our time to live our best life. Don't be discouraged that, hey, this is not our rest and you should make your body a living sacrifice. Don't be discouraged that you shouldn't feed your flesh and do a bucket list and engulf yourself with this present evil world. Don't be discouraged that we have to go through all the punishment and all these curses of Deuteronomy 28 verses 16 on down to 68. Don't be discouraged. This is all for your moral improvement, because you're going to rule for eternity. Don't be discouraged that you have to go through this dangerous place to fall before you get to your inheritance, that you may rule it. All right, don't be discouraged. It says, "But that they judge those punishments not to be for destruction, but for a chastening of our nation." All right, a moral improving of our nation. "For it is a token of his great goodness when wicked doers," when us immortals, us Israelites, do wickedly, we're not suffered any long time, but forthwith punished. We're punished immediately so we can learn from that mistake. So we can learn from that sin, that wickedness that we did. All right. Verse 14, it says, "For not as with other nations, these mortal nations, whom the Lord patiently forbeareth to punish, till they come to the fullness of their sins." All right. He said, with these other nations, he patiently forbeareth to punish. That's why in this Ecclesiastes 8 and 11, it says, because sentence against an evil work is not executed speedily. But he just said that, hey, when we do an evil work, we're forthwith punished. Look up the word forthwith. He said, you Israelites, you only have I known of all the families of the earth, therefore I will punish you forthwith. He said, not as with other nations whom the Lord patiently forbeareth to punish. So the Lord is patiently waiting to punish them for all their impieties and iniquities and, all the things that they do. He's waiting to punish them. Because right now he's punishing us to morally improve us. He's not trying to morally improve these other nations, these mortals. Okay? So Ecclesiastes 8 and 11. Because sentence against an evil work is not executed speedily, therefore the hearts of the sons of men is fully set in them to do evil. It's fully set in them to live their way. All right? Which is not the way of life, which is not the way of righteousness, which is not the way of the law, statutes, and commandments that was given to us Israelites exclusively. They're not living like that because it was given to us exclusively, but they still gonna get a punishment for all their ways of the death style that they're living, and they teach it to us. All right. See, but the sentence against them doing all these things is not executed speedily. The Lord patiently forbeareth to punish them till they come to the fullness of their sins. All right. So he said it's a token of the Most High's great goodness towards us immortals that he punish us right away. So we may learn, so we may be morally improved. All right. That's a token, a sign that he loves us. Okay. So let me go back to the video.
And so they had to go through a punishment, and they were given over into the mortals' hands. Yep. They were given into the mortals' hands, but just for a time. It was for punishment. But then he was going to ultimately avenge us, because during those times, them immortals was doing all their ways in wickedness.
I said them immortals. I meant mortals right there. Them mortals, all right, these heathen nations were just doing all their ways, living their way. All right, and they haven't got punished for it. All right, because he's not trying to morally improve them. He gonna wait till they come to the fullness of their sins before he make his second coming. All right, and punish them.
And you know what I'm saying? They were doing all that. That's why second Esdras had talked about, or Esdras was saying how, hey man, all right, we got punished for what we doing, but damn, I come and see these heathens and they got impieties without number. He say, and they chilling, they having fun, they rich, they got the world, but they doing all manner of shit and they ain't getting punished. You know what I'm saying? But no, because I was punishing the immortals for their moral improvement. Right. I'm not punishing the mortals right now. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And that second Esdras I was talking about was this second Esdras 3, which I always love to get this as well. It says, second Esdras 3 and 28. It says, are their deeds then any better that inhabit Babylon? Talking about these mortals, these heathen nations, that they should have therefore the dominion over Zion, over us immortals. All right. It says, for when I came thither, I had seen impieties without number. Then my soul saw many evildoers in this 13th year, so that my heart faileth me. For I have seen how thou sufferest them sinning, thou allow them, doing whatever they want to do, and has spared wicked doers. You spared them mortals, all right, from punishing them. All right. It says, and has destroyed thy people, and has preserved thine enemies, and had not signified it. So, matter of fact, verse 31, I do not remember how this way may be left. He say, are they then of Babylon better than they of Zion? All right. He say, are they better than us? He said, no, we are actually, the immortals, the Israelites are better than them. We're better than the mortals. We're better than the heathen. All right. But because the Lord wasn't punishing them, Esdras was like, well, shit, is it the opposite? Are they better than us? All right. No, they're not. He's not morally improved. See, Esdras didn't know at the time. All right. That's why he's asking all these things. The Lord said, man, you think you love my people more than me? You know? He say, verse 32, or is there any other people that knoweth thee beside Israel? All right, no, only the Israelites. But we had to go through all these things for our moral improvement. See, Esdras didn't know at the time. He was just looking at, what had befell us and all the captivity that we was in and all the punishments that we were getting and being in subjection to these mortals and these heathen nations. And he was just like, wait a minute, are they better than us? They sitting up here doing all manner of things. They ain't even thinking about your name. They ain't thinking about the law, statutes, and commandments. They doing all manner of wickedness, yet they rich. They having fun. They living their best life. They chilling. All right. That's why he said, or is there any other people that knoweth thee beside Israel? Or what generation hath so believed thy covenants as Jacob? And yet their reward appeareth not, and their labor have no fruit. For I have gone here and there through the heathen, through the mortals, and I see that they flow in wealth, and think not upon thy commandments. It says, weigh thou therefore our wickedness now in the balance, and theirs also. Weigh our wickedness in the balance, us immortals that's down here in this flesh. All right. Weigh our wickedness in the balance, and theirs also, the mortals, these heathen nations that dwell in the world. It says, and so shall thy name nowhere be found but in Israel. Or when was it that they which dwell upon the earth have not sinned in thy sight? Or what people have so kept thy commandments? Thou shalt find that Israel by name hath kept thy precepts, but not the heathen, not these immortals. All right. See, but like I said, at the time, Esdras didn't know at the time that we had to go through all these things, and it was for our benefit. All right. It worketh something for us that we was going through all these things. All right. Because if we were exercised by all these things that we had to go through, it worketh a peaceable fruit of righteousness to them that are exercised thereby. If we overcome, if we learn, if we, when we fall, get back up, learn from that thing and keep it pushing. Okay?
Not punishing the mortals right now. You know what I'm saying? But ultimately, they have to get a punishment too. And it's when they fulfill their iniquity and wickedness and the will of the Father and his plan and what he wrote. Yeah. They got the bounds, and then it's done for the mortals to be ruling. It's time for the immortals to be ruling because they went through their training process. They went through the straight.
Say your iniquity is accomplished. Iniquity is accomplished, man. Mm-hmm. As Esau Edom's turn.
Yeah. He said he's going to turn back our captivity.
Yep. Matter of fact, let me get that. He just said he going to turn back our iniquity. He going to turn back our captivity. This is Zephaniah, the book of Zephaniah. Zephaniah chapter 3, verse right. This is Zephaniah 3 and 17. It says, the Lord thy God in the midst of thee is mighty. He will save. He will save. Right? It says, he will rejoice over thee with joy. He will rest in his love. He will joy over thee with singing. Now, Zephaniah was a prophet. All right? This prophecy hasn't came to pass yet. It says, at the end it shall speak and not lie. All right, the prophecy is yet for an appointed time. Remember, Habakkuk chapter 2. It says that the vision is yet for an appointed time, and at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it shall come It shall surely come. It shall not tarry. All right. So right now, this is about to happen. All right. This is about to happen. This is about to come to pass. What the prophet Zephaniah is saying right here. All right. It says verse 18, I will gather them that are sorrowful for the solemn assembly who are of thee, to whom the reproach of it was a burden. Behold, at that time I will undo all that afflict thee. And all these nations, heathen mortals, all right, are afflicting us. It says, and I will save her that halteth. All right. And us Israelites, we're not in our godly state right now. All right. We're like lame. All right. We can't do what we are ultimately are going to do, which is perform the law, statutes, and commandments. Right now, we only could rehearse it. And it says a righteous man, a just man falleth 7 times, but get back up again. All right. See, but in the kingdom, when we have the law, statutes, and commandments written in our minds and our hearts, we're never going to fall. All right. We're never going to sin. We're never going to transgress a law. We're going to be perfect. All right. We're going to be immortal gods. All right. It says, and I will save her that halted. He's going to save us from this flesh that we're in. Right. It says, and gather her that was driven out, and I will get them praise and fame in every land where they have been put to shame. And we've been put to shame everywhere. All right. Right now we're infamous, but he said we're going to be famous. OK, that's the good one. But that's to come. All right soon. Verse 20. It says, and at that time will I bring you again. Will I bring you again? All right. Who has been there? Only the Israelites. It says, even in the time that I gather you, for I will make you a name and a praise among all people of the earth. So among all these mortals, among all these heathen nations, all right, he said he's going to make us a praise among them. All right. It says, when I turn back your captivity before your eyes, saith the Lord. All right. See, because right now we're in captivity to our enemies, these heathen nations. All right. These mortals. But the Lord is going to save us, deliver us from this predicament that we're in. He's going to turn back our captivity. OK, right before our eyes. OK, so continuing on.
Yeah, he said he's going to turn back our captivity.
Yup.
You know what I'm saying? The immortals. And we're in captivity to this flesh right now. You know what I'm saying?
Yep, we're in captivity to this flesh as well. Just like it says right here in this Jude. All right, we're in captivity in every way, man. And this Jude 1:6, it says, and the angels which kept not their first estate, but left their own habitation, he hath reserved in everlasting chains under darkness unto the judgment of the great day. Because the judgment of the great day, the elect, the first fruits of the nation of Israel, it says it's going to be changed. Like it says in a moment, in a twinkling of an eye, at the last trump. All right. We're going to be changed from this wicked flesh that we're in, these chains. All right. Which, matter of fact, this word right here in Jude 1:6, chains. All right. Chains is from the Greek word G1199, desmon or desmos, all right, which is band or bond, a band or bond. And here it is, the definition of bond. All right, I'll put it on there. And then there's some more under. It says anything that binds, fastens, or confines. All right. A householder, literally dweller And right now, our spirit is dwelling in our house, which house is the bodig, where the body, where your abode. All right. What this body is our abode. All right. What's dwelling inside of this body? Our spirit. All right. Our spirit. It says now. Here it is. Bond. Another definition. You can check that out. In a state of a serf, unfree, tenant. Occupier and tiller of soil, a peasant, a husbandman. All right. There's another. A serf, a slave. All right. Right now, we're a slave in this flesh right now. Okay. We're a slave. We're in captivity to this wicked flesh. Okay. Where we can't perform our ways perfectly. Okay. We can't do it in this flesh. That's why we need our Lord and Savior to come save us from the captivity of being in these chains of darkness, this flesh, these bonds and ligaments. Matter of fact, let me see. Matter of fact, if I can go, because it said bond and band, right? Bond and band. Matter of fact, let me see something.
Right now,
So that's at the 8-minute mark. I wanted to get something real quick. That band, it says this is the definition. All right. Binding the person bands, articles for binding the person or the limbs. All right. Shackles, manacles, fetters. As an anatomy. It says a ribbon-like or cord-like structure encircling, binding, or connecting parts. So this flesh, basically, all right, a human body, all right, that is what we're trapped in right now, okay? And so that's part of also the punishment and the training ground of the immortals, that we are in chains under darkness, everlasting chains under darkness until the judgment of the great day. All right, going through all the necessary things that we had to go through. All right.
And we're in captivity physically too.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? In every way here on this earth, in this present evil world, under our enemies. The mortals. You know? So it's that time of the transition, man. That's why all these shit's about to go down. Because it's time for the immortals. It says, hey, after the mortal, the wicked rule, then it says it's time for, and it says Esau. It says what? The actress asks, what is the parting asunder of the times? When shall begin the end of the first, and then when is the beginning of it that followeth? And then he answered and said unto him, from Abraham to Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born, his hand held the foot. Esau, it said for Esau is the end of the world. The mortal is the end of the world. But Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. The immortal is the beginning of it that followeth. The sons of God, who happen to now look like a mortal.
Change darkness.
So y'all not gonna be on our level in the kingdom. Y'all mortals. We're immortals. We're just baby immortals. That's how it hey, that's just, it is what it is. The creator of all, our dad, he had us, and that's who we are.
Then we had to learn how we had to get that experience of what it's like to be immortal. You know, he's training us to be gods, man.
Yep. He said that, we had to go through the experience of being like a mortal. All right? Yeah, let me go back a few ticks. 10. What the brother said was what I've been reading.
That's how it. Hey, that's just, it is what it is. The creator of all, our dad, he had us, and that's who we are.
Then we had to learn how we had to get that experience of what it's like to be immortal.
We had to get the experience.
He's training us to be gods, man.
That's it.
That's it, brother. That's it. That's why we had to go through all this, man. He could have just gave it to us, but look, check it out. Even in how people now, there's heirs, and they give over their, inheritance to their children. Their children don't really, they don't really. While they have fun, but they don't really learn. You know what I'm saying?
And they
don't really appreciate it.
Right. They spoil snotty brats, man.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So, and then look at what they become. Yep. Some of them even kill themselves.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So no, we had to go through the things to get it.
Yep, and that's what is going to make us appreciate it even more. You know what I'm saying? And know the difference between good and evil. And man, we choose the good because we done been through the evil. We done the evil. We done been in the evil. We experienced it. We tried it out, all that. All right? And so we're going to appreciate the good. All right? We're going to appreciate being righteous and being the righteous people. And ultimately, all these other nations, after their punishment, these mortals, they're gonna realize, like, yeah, they, man, y'all got it. Y'all are ruling righteously. We all having fun. Everybody, Now, like I say, of course, after their punishment that they gotta get, and after their slavery and captivity that they gotta go through. All right, but carry on.
Not just get handed it down. The immortals had to go through all these things.
The dangerous place to fall.
And it was being put in bodies just like mere mortals.
Mm-hmm.
And we can die just like mere mortals. That's our daddy, and he had us, and that's who we are. And then ultimately, once we have learned our lesson, even 100% of us completely, after 2/3 they go through theirs, you know what I'm saying, which is that physical fire. Then ultimately, Israelites, all 100% will be in the kingdom of heaven, which is, it says in the Revelation, they're going to reign on the earth.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the kingdom of heaven that the immortals are going to rule in and beyond. In righteousness. With the law, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, which was our way of life.
Yep, and that's we the only ones that got that promise. This is Hebrews 8:10. It says, "For this is the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel." All right, the immortals. It says, after those days, after these days that we're in right now, this dangerous place to fall, this present evil world that was given over into the mortals, these heathens. All right, after these days, he said, "This is the covenant that I make with you, you house of Israel, my people." All right. It says, this is the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days, saith the Lord. I will put my laws in their minds, and I will write them in their hearts, and I will be to them a God, and they shall be to me a people. All right. He's going to put the laws, statutes, and commandments in our minds and our hearts. That is just the finishing off of the perfection. Because right now we're being purified and perfected by suffering, by going through all these experiences and chastening of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. And the training ground that we're in, all right, is purifying and perfecting us. All right. But then to finish us off, to perfect us, is